Have you ever come across these things? They seem quite strange. These things appear to be out of place with both the historical artifacts we are familiar with and the future technologies depicted in movies. In fact, even for the locals who discovered them, these things are equally puzzling and astonishing. When Sichuan is mentioned, what comes to your mind first? Perhaps you are familiar with this region, or perhaps you have never heard of it. No worries, let's get a general understanding of this area and see what it has to offer. Firstly, Sichuan is an important province in southwestern China, covering an area of 486,000 square kilometers, mainly consisting of basins, with a warm and humid climate. It is adjacent to Chongqing, one of the 4 municipalities directly under the central government of China. Perhaps you have never heard of Chongqing, but you must have heard of China. As long as you can find it on the world map, that's good enough. Sanxingdui, a large part of Sichuan's fame comes from an animal, the panda. In fact, Sichuan is home to the world's largest panda conservation area, the Sanxingdui Giant Panda Breeding Research Base. If you are a die-hard fan of giant pandas, going to Sanxingdui, the capital of Sichuan, and getting up close and personal with them is definitely a wonderful journey. Sichuan is also famous for its unique flavored cuisine, such as hot pot and mapo tofu, among others. Sichuan cuisine is known for its spicy and fragrant flavors, both spicy and fragrant. If you are a fan of spicy food, Sichuan cuisine is definitely worth a try. Sichuan also has many tourist attractions such as Juzhegu and Amei Mountain, etc. Sichuan also has the famous water conservancy project Dujianjian, which is the world's oldest, only surviving, large-scale water conservancy project characterized by damless water diversion. It was built around 250 BC and has a history of more than 2,000 years. Amazingly, this water conservancy project is still in use today. It is one of the world-recognized cultural heritages and also a famous tourist spot in the local area. Now, you should have some understanding of this place. Perhaps, some of the content I introduced is familiar to you, and some may make you feel unfamiliar. But what does this geographical knowledge have to do with the content at the beginning of this video? In fact, those astonishing and puzzling artifacts at the beginning were unearthed in this area. The more precise location is the south bank of the Duck River in the northwest of Guangdong City, Sichuan Province. This video aims to introduce and discuss some content about Sanxingdui, while leaving some puzzling aspects about these artifacts and the civilization that created them. In the end, it will recommend a few books written by authoritative figures who have researched Sanxingdui, for the audience to read these books on their own, to delve into this ancient world that has left even the most experienced archaeologists in China puzzled. Sanxingdui Site Map. The Sanxingdui site is located on the south bank of the Duck River in the northwest of Guangdong City, Sichuan Province, China. It is 40 kilometers south of the provincial capital Chengdu and 7 kilometers east of Guangdong City. It is a large site group composed of many ancient cultural remains distribution points and was announced as a key cultural relics protection project in China in January 1988. Archaeologists divide the cultural remains of this site group into 4 periods, of which the first period is early accumulation, belonging to the late Neolithic culture, and the second to 4th periods belong to the Bronze Age culture. The site group dates from the late Neolithic period to the end of the Shang dynasty and the beginning of the Zhou dynasty, spanning nearly 2,000 years. The Sanxingdui site group is huge in scale and wide in range. Most of the ancient cultural remains are distributed on the high terraces on both sides of the Mamu River on the south bank of the Duck River. The site group is irregularly trapezoidal in plan, with a wider south and narrower north. It is 5 to 6 kilometers long from east to west along the river, 2 to 3 kilometers wide from north to south, and covers an area of about 1,200 hectares. It is the largest and most important ancient cultural remains in Sichuan. More than 30 distribution points of ancient cultural remains have been identified. The age range of the Sanxingdui site group spans 2,000 years. The large number of pottery, stone tools, jade, bronze, and gold unearthed have distinct local cultural characteristics and form a cultural system, which has been named Sanxingdui culture by Chinese archaeologists. The Sanxingdui site is an important representative of the world's bronze civilization from the 16th century BC to the 14th century BC. It has important value for studying the process of early states and the development of religious consciousness and occupies an important position in the history of human civilization. It is the largest capital site with a regional central position in the southwestern region of China. Its discovery provided unique physical evidence for the disappeared ancient Shu kingdom and advanced the history of civilization in the Sichuan region by more than 2,000 years. Regarding the display and exhibition of cultural relics of Sanxingdui, the Chinese government has specially built related museums for world tourists to experience the unearthed cultural relics up close. The Sanxingdui Museum is located in the northeast corner of the Sanxingdui site, located on the west bank of the Duck River in the historical and cultural city of Guanggan, 40 kilometers south of Chengdu and 26 kilometers north of Dayang. It is a modern thematic site museum in China. The museum was founded in August 1992 and opened in October 1997. The museum area of the Sanxingdui Museum covers an area of about 530 acres, the first exhibition hall covers an area of 4,200 square meters, the second exhibition hall covers an area of 7,000 square meters, and the total building area of the visitor reception center is 2,600 square meters. If you are interested in learning more about the site relics of Sanxingdui, then this museum will be your best choice. The sensational discovery of the Sanxingdui site began with a pit of jade artifacts accidentally discovered by local farmer Yan Daoqing in 1929 when he was digging a ditch. In the spring of 1931, V.H. Donnythorne, a British missionary preaching in Guanggan County, heard the news and found the local garrison to help publicize protection and investigation, and also handed over the collected jade artifacts to the Museum of West China University run by Americans. Based on the clues provided by Donnythorne, David C. Graham, the curator of the West China University Museum, and assistant Lin Mingjuan formed an archaeological team in the spring of 1934. Luo Yutsang, the county magistrate of Guanggan County, presided over a 10-day excavation near where Yan discovered the jade artifacts. The excavation was fruitful. Based on these materials, Graham compiled the Hanzhou Excavation Brief Report. After the first excavation of the Sanxingdui site in 1934, the excavation was long stagnant. In the 1950s, Chinese archaeologists resumed archaeological work at Sanxingdui. At that time, they did not realize the huge scale of the Sanxingdui site, so they each treated the Moon Bay location in the northern part of the Sanxingdui site and the Sanxingdui location in the southern part as a site, respectively named Hengliangzi Site and Sanxingdui Site. Sanxingdui got its name from this. From 1985 to 1987, the Shiqiao site in Chengdu City was excavated. The cultural appearance of the lowest layer of this site is the same as the latest remains of the Sanxingdui site, providing important materials for the direction of Sanxingdui culture and other issues. Starting in 1990, the exploration of Sanxingdui culture and civilization extended from the Chengdu Plain to the Yudong and southern Shaanxi regions. After the 1980s and 1990s, the Sanxingdui site ushered in a period of large-scale continuous excavation, lasting for 20 years. On March 20, 2021, 6 new, sacrificial pits, discovered in the archaeological work of the Sanxingdui site have unearthed more than 500 important cultural relics, 3 of which have found ivory. On March 21, the new archaeology of Sanxingdui continued, and an ivory weighing more than 100 catties was completely extracted from pit number 4. Similarly, the Sanxingdui site proves that it should be an important cultural center around the Xia and Shang periods in China, or even earlier, and has a certain connection with the Central Plains culture. This validates the authenticity of the records of the ancient Shu kingdom in ancient literature. Previously, historians believed that the birthplace of the Chinese nation was the Yellow River Basin, and then gradually spread to all of China. However, the discovery of Sanxingdui pushed the history of the ancient Shu kingdom back to 5,000 years ago, proving that the Yangtze River Basin, like the Yellow River Basin, is also the birthplace of the Chinese nation, and proving that there was an ancient civilization in the Yangtze River Basin area that was not inferior to the Yellow River Basin area. Sanxingdui bronzes are characterized by a large number of human, bird, beast, insect, snake, and plant shapes. Bronze human heads, human faces, and masks represent the ancestral spirits being worshipped. Bronze standing human figures and kneeling human figures represent the worshippers and those presiding over the worship. Bronze animal masks with eyes protruding forward and flat bronze animal faces may be natural deities worshipped by the Shu people. Bronze divine trees with plant-like modeling characteristics reflect the religious consciousness of the Shu people's plant worship. The religious concept of ancestor worship and the worship of natural deities such as animals and plants is the most important spiritual world of the early Shu people. It is worth noting that, Among the cultural relics unearthed from Sanxingdui, there are not only a large number of artifacts representing human eyes, but these artifacts themselves are precious and peculiar, such as a large mask, with extremely exaggerated eyeballs, and the pupil part is cylindrical and protrudes forward, up to 16.5 centimeters long. Also, this protruding bronze mask, the cylinder protruding from the eyes is 9 centimeters long. In addition, there are dozens of pairs of eye-shaped bronze ornaments, including more than 10 forms such as diamond shape, hook cloud shape, round bubble shape, etc., all have tenon holes around, can be assembled or hung separately, showing a special emphasis on the eyes. Why did the ancient Shu people pay so much attention to depicting eyes? Why is the pupil part of the bronze mask made cylindrical? It turns out that this is related to the ancestor worship of the ancient Shu people. According to scholars, this kind of bronze mask with a cylinder protruding on the eyes, the protruding bronze mask unearthed from Sanxingdui, etc., are exactly the statue of the ancient Shu king Kong. According to historical records, King Kensong of Shu originally lived in Winshan County, upstream of Minchen in northwest Sichuan. And this place lacks iodine and other substances. Until modern times, this place is still a severe iodine deficiency, hyperthyroidism epidemic area. We know that an important feature of hyperthyroidism patients is that their eyes protrude. Therefore, King Kensong of Shu is likely to be a severe hyperthyroidism patient, and his eyes were extremely protruding during his lifetime. And his descendants, when shaping the statue of Kensong, grasped this feature and further deified it, which is why the statue of King Kensong of Shu was depicted as vertical eyes. Sanxingdui has created and broken many world records, many of which have been selected into the World Records Association World Records. The earliest and tallest bronze divine tree in the world. It is 384 centimeters high, with 3 clusters of branches, each with 3 branches, a total of 9 branches, with 27 fruits and 9 birds on it, and a dragon winding down the side of the tree. It is inferred that it may be the Fusang tree in ancient mythology. The earliest golden rod in the world. It is 142 centimeters long, 2.3 centimeters in diameter, weighs more than 700 grams, and has carved human heads, fish, and bird patterns. The largest and most complete bronze standing human figure in the world. It is 262 centimeters tall and weighs over 180 kilograms. It is known as the King of Bronze Statues. The largest bronze vertical eye human figure in the world. It is 64.5 centimeters high and 138.5 centimeters apart between the 2 ears. The most bronze human head statues and masks unearthed in the world at one time. There are more than 50 pieces. The bronze standing human figure has facial features of a high nose, thick eyebrows, and large eyes, with the eyes in a slanting vertical shape, a wide mouth, large ears, and a hole in the earlobe. There is a hairline at the back end of the head. The figure's body is tall and thin, with large arms and hands, very exaggerated, and both hands are in a holding shape. This is the largest bronze standing human figure in the world, with a height of about 1.7 meters, a total height of 2.62 meters with the base, and a weight of 180 kilograms. It is revered as the King of World Bronze Statues. The casting history dates back more than 3,000 years. Such a huge bronze giant is still the first case among the Shang and Zhou cultural relics unearthed in China, so it is known as the Eastern Giant. The crown on the top of the bronze standing human figure has a circular symbol representing the sun in the center. From its position, this large standing figure may represent the sun god exercising his duties, or he may be the incarnation of the sun god himself. This is a direct manifestation of sun worship. The bronze standing human is not a realistic style statue. From the analysis of the figure's skeleton, his body does not conform to the proportion of a normal person. No such body can be found anywhere in the world. That is to say, this statue does not represent a person in the general sense. So, who might this bronze standing figure represent? Chen Xiandan, the excavator of that year, believed that he was a religious leader who combined politics and religion. Duan Yu, the director of the History Research Institute of the Sichuan Academy of Social Sciences, speculated from the volume of the standing figure that it was a symbol of the Shu king. Zhao Dianxing also considered from the perspective of the material chosen by the manufacturer that the standing figure was commanding the overall situation among the bronze figures. This kind of full-body bronze statue is rare in China, and its appearance is very sudden, so some scholars are looking for the origin of this feature in the Near East. Mesopotamia began to use bronze to make statues in the early 30th century BC. Ancient Aegean civilization also has a large number of bronze statues. Today, when people face this statue, their questioning eyes often fall on those exaggerated big hands. These surprisingly large hands in a circular holding shape are extremely disproportionate to the body. So, were these huge hands originally empty? If not, what might he be holding? The circle formed by these two hands is not concentric, that is, the object held by this large standing person should be two pieces or one curved thing. What could that be? The bronze sun wheel is probably the most mysterious artifact unearthed from Sanxingdui. Most people believe it is a decorative artifact expressing the concept of sun worship, and some people believe it is extremely similar to the sun wheel pattern in the Huashan mural of the ancient Luoyu culture. However, as is well known, both nature and humans like symmetry, because symmetry is not only beautiful, stable, but also simple. Isn't it more beautiful and simple to make ornaments with 4, 6, 8, or 12 spikes? Why do the people of Sanxingdui give up simplicity for complexity? You know, in an era when measurement technology was still very backward, it would be very difficult to divide the circumference into 5 equal parts. Sanxingdui, the unresolved mystery of the ages. Located about 3 to 4 kilometers from Guanggan, Sichuan, there are 3 mounds of loess protruding on the Chengdu plain, hence the name Sanxingdui. In the spring of 1929, local farmer Yan Daoqing discovered a pit of exquisite jade artifacts while digging a ditch next to his house, marking the beginning of the study of Sanxingdui civilization. In 1986, the discovery of 2 large Shang dynasty sacrificial pits at Sanxingdui revealed thousands of rare treasures to the world, causing a sensation. Unresolved Mystery 1, the origin of civilization. The discovery of Sanxingdui pushed the history of the ancient Shu kingdom back to 5,000 years ago. Where does Sanxingdui culture come from? The large number of bronze human and animal figures here do not belong to any category of Central Plains bronzes. It's incredible that not a single character is left on the bronzes. The Sanxingdui people unearthed have high noses, deep eyes, prominent cheekbones, wide mouths, and large ears, with holes in their ears. They don't look like Chinese but more like foreigners. Chen Dean, the director of the Sanxingdui workstation of the Sichuan Provincial Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology, believes in an interview with reporters that the Sanxingdui people may have come from other continents, and the Sanxingdui civilization may be a hybrid civilization. Unresolved Mystery 2, the disappeared ancient capital. The prosperity of the ancient Shu kingdom lasted for more than 1,500 years, and then it disappeared as suddenly as it appeared. When history was connected again, there was already a mysterious blank of more than 2,000 years. People have speculated various reasons for the demise of the ancient Shu kingdom, but they have always stayed on the hypothesis due to insufficient evidence. Flood theory. The Sanxingdui site is located north of the Duck River, and the Mamu River runs through the city, so some scholars believe it is the result of devastating floods. However, archaeologists have not found flood deposits in the site. War theory. Most of the utensils found in the site have been destroyed or scorched in advance, which seems to also confirm this explanation. But later people found that the ages of these utensils differed by hundreds of years. Migration theory. This theory does not require much verification, but it actually still does not answer the fundamental question: why do people migrate? The Chengdu Plain is rich in resources, fertile soil, and mild climate. It seems difficult to explain with the disaster theory. So, what is the real reason for the disappearance of the ancient Shu kingdom in the long river of history? Unresolved Mystery 3, mysterious utensils. Among the large number of bronzes unearthed from Sanxingdui, there are basically no daily necessities, and most of them are sacrificial utensils. It shows that the original religious system of the ancient Shu kingdom was relatively complete. These sacrificial utensils have cultural characteristics of different regions, especially bronze statues, golden rods, etc., which are very close to the world-famous Maya culture and ancient Egyptian culture. Zhang Jizhong, deputy director of the Sanxingdui Museum, believes that a large number of sacrificial utensils with different regional characteristics indicate that Sanxingdui was once the pilgrimage center of some tribes. More than 5,000 seashells were unearthed in the pit, which were identified as coming from the Indian Ocean. Some people say that these seashells were used for trade and were the earliest foreign exchange in Sichuan, while others say that they were sacrificial offerings brought by pilgrims. More than 60 ivory tusks have caused a dispute between scholars over native ivory and foreign ivory. The closed ancient Shu kingdom, could it have had overseas trade? It's incredible. Unresolved mystery 4, text or picture. A priceless treasure was discovered in the sacrificial pit, the earliest golden rod in the world. The theory of its scepter has long been recognized by the academic community, but the patterns of fish, arrows, etc. carved on it have caused a controversy. A necessary element of civilization for a nation, Sanxingdui has all of them, only lacking text. Scholars have had some history of arguing about this. As for whether the patterns on the golden rod are pictures or texts, different people have different opinions. Some are already trying to decipher, while some experts believe that the symbols depicted basically exist individually and cannot express language. However, if these patterns can be deciphered, it will greatly promote the solution of the mystery of Sanxingdui. The question mark in the text of Sanxingdui is also one of its attractions. Unresolved mystery 5, when can the mystery be unveiled? The cultural relics exhibited in the Sanxingdui Museum are the results of 70 years of archaeological excavations. The excavation work currently underway is the 13th large-scale excavation. The result is still a mystery. But one thing is certain, the mysterious veil of Sanxingdui will not be easily unveiled. In the 12 square kilometers of cultural keep protection area, only 7,000 square meters have been excavated. After seeing Sanxingdui, Yu Qiuyu said, "Great civilization should have some mystery. Chinese culture records are too clear, fortunately there is a Sanxingdui." If you can read Chinese, that's great. You can read many primary sources about the Sanxingdui research without any barriers. I recommend the following books to you. Here is Sanxingdui, all 3 volumes. The chief editor of this book is Zhu Yering, who is the deputy director of the Sanxingdui Museum. This is a children's science popularization book focused on enlightenment, suitable for children over 6 years old to read. It aims to cultivate children's reading habits and spirit of exploration. In Search of Sanxingdui, the authors are Xuepeng and Ai Jiangtao, who are reporters and main writers for the Sanlian Life Weekly. Sanxingdui, Opening the Door to Chinese Civilization, the author is Fan You, who used to work at the Beijing Palace Museum and is now a senior reviewer and editor at Tiandi Publishing House. These books are all written by relevant professionals. Reading their works can answer many questions for us and open up new perspectives for us to explore the ancient culture of Sanxingdui. Of course, if you don't understand Chinese, it's not a problem. There are English books specifically introducing Sanxingdui. The following books are available for non-Chinese speakers to read. Sanxingdui in the Ancient Shu Culture is written by Xiao Qianhui. This book is the official guide of the Sanxingdui Museum, detailing the discovery and unearthed artifacts of Sanxingdui. Sanxingdui in Chengdu, The Birth of a Myth, is written by Lin Ganqiu. This book discusses the city history and myth origins of Chengdu, including related content of Sanxingdui. These books can provide valuable information and unique perspectives for English readers who want to delve into Sanxingdui. Both of these books are written by relevant Chinese experts who have researched the culture of Sanxingdui and have been translated into English texts for enthusiasts from various countries to read and explore in depth. In addition, there are articles co-written by experts studying the history and archaeology of East Asia. The Lost World of Sanxingdui is published by World Archaeology. Ancient Sichuan treasures from a lost civilization can be found directly in the Amazon bookstore. Author, edited by Robert Bagley. Publisher, Princeton University Press, 2001. The authors of these books or articles come from different countries. They have contributed to the publication of these books or articles because of the same hobbies and professional spirit. We are fortunate to be able to stand on their shoulders to explore this interesting ancient civilization more deeply.